ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा। So, am I audible clearly?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, good. So we are currently reading from the Canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which talks about the glorious devotion of the Pandavas, which introduces to us the main characters of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. And before Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, the guru of Shukdev Goswami, that is Vyasadev. And not only the guru of Shukdev Goswami Vyasadev, but also the guru of Vyasadev, that is Narad Muni. So therefore, before any movie begins, you may just have a first scene which is shown, but then there's a star cast starring who all are the actors, actresses, etc. in this movie. So the Bhagavatam begins with description of the star cast. If you look at the Bhagavatam, the first two cantos, they are conversations between the entire Guru Parampara. That is a very interesting observation if you look at it in that way. The first two cantos are the introduction of the star cast. That is, who is the star cast in the Bhagavatam? It is basically all the gurus, all the acharyas, the entire Guru Parampara. So, in the second canto, there is conversation between Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, right? Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna. They are having a conversation in the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kave. Lord Krishna, he gave the knowledge to Brahmaji. And then you have conversation between Brahmaji and Narad Muni also in the second canto. Then you have conversation between Narad and his disciple Vyas in this particular section on the first canto, 5th to 7th chapter. And you have conversation between Vyasadev and Shukdev Goswami, which is also very briefly mentioned, that how Shukdev Goswami, immediately after birth, he left for the forest, and Vyasadev he was running after him, and then this verse, which two verses he introduced to Shukdev Goswami, by which he developed attraction to the Srimad Bhagavatam. These two verses are, one verse is about the beauty of Krishna, the beautiful form of Krishna. Another verse is about the beautiful heart of Krishna. If you get attracted to any person, it is mostly because of their external looks, or because of their internal character. So Vyasadev, he got those two verses to reach the ears of Shukdev Goswami. I think the two verses are Barha Pedam Natavara Vapu Karnayo Karnikaram Bibhratvasa Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayantim Shamalam. So like this, the verse describing how Krishna is standing in a very majestic way, lending his hand on the shoulder of one of his cowherd friends, and with a flute in his hand, right? and with a Karnika flower on his ears. He's standing majestically. So the beauty of Krishna is described, and then the beautiful heart of Krishna is described. Can anyone guess which verse or which pastime shows the beautiful heart of Krishna? Which was uh,
Ahobakya.
Aho Bakiyam Shubhangi Jai. Thumbs up for Shubhangi. Claps for Shubhangi. Thank you. अहो बकियं सनकालकूटं जिघांसयापायदपि असाधवी लेभे गतिधात्रिमुचितं ततोऽन्यत् कं वा दयालुं शरणं व्रजेम. That what magnanimous and what uh, compassionate this Lord is, who provided the position of a mother to someone who came to feed him poison. So, what would that personality be offering to you if you approach him with devotion? Someone approached him with poison, and he gave him the nectar of his uh, of being his mother in the spiritual world, being a daima, being the uh, you know caretaker mother in the spiritual world. So, how beautiful the character and heart of this person is. So therefore, this is how the conversation between Vyasadeva and Shukdev Goswami is briefly touched upon. And then, of course, now we are reading the conversation between Narad and Vyasadeva. And later on, we will see the conversation between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So this was just a brief intro to lead to our discussion for today. So we will, as usual, begin with a verse. So the fourth chapter actually, this verse is verse number 31st verse. Kim va bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupita priya paramahamsanam ta eva hi achyuta priya. So Vyasdev is reflecting, introspecting within himself that why is it that even after compiling all the Vedic literatures for the welfare of the entire humanity, he is still feeling dissatisfaction in his heart. So he is contemplating and reflecting upon this. So the translation says this. So he's thinking, my dissatisfaction may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to the perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. Prabhupada writes, the dissatisfaction which was being felt by Srila Vyasadeva is expressed here in his own words. This was felt for the normal condition of the living entity in the devotional service of the Lord. Unless one is fixed in the normal condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can become fully satisfied. This defect was felt by him when Narad Muni, his spiritual master, reached him. It is described as follows. So, we have been discussing the theme of dissatisfaction of Vyasdev, and in the previous class, we discussed what elaborate work contribution did Srila Vyasdev make, what literary contribution did Srila Vyasdev make for the entire humanity. He divided the one Veda into the four Vedas, and he created 18 Puranas, 108 Upanishads, and and he distributed the sixth system of philosophy amongst his disciples. He distributed each of the Vedas and the systems of Puranas and Itihasas amongst his disciples for further elaborating on them and teaching them on and on. So, despite all of that, despite such hard work, we are seeing here that Vyasdev is dissatisfied. So, this being the theme, I want to come to all of you with a question that many times we have seen that failure leads to dissatisfaction. But has it ever happened in your life that success led to dissatisfaction? Even though you were successful, you still felt dissatisfied, incomplete, undone. Can anyone share any example? You need not shy. We are just a closed group having a discussion Well, I'll share mine first to begin with. So it was my final year of engineering at the MBA Engineering College, Jodhpur, and so the for the placement, different companies were visiting, and I think the top company was IBM, which visited us, the campus. And I am kind of from the mechanical field, and IBM recruits in the computer science field. Hmm. So, but it is considered as the top company visiting the campus. So anyhow, we always aspire to be associated with the top, hmm, irrespective of whether that aligns with our own um, inclination or not. That doesn't matter. So I was always a technology freak in terms of machines and how machines work, and I was not so much into coding, although I was good at coding also. But my main attraction was machines and design, machine design, etc. So I also sat for IBM, hmm, and I cleared the first written exam. Then had to appear for the interview, the group discussion. I cleared the group discussion. Then I had to appear for the interview, and after the interview, the results were supposed to be announced, and the printed sheet of the selected candidates was put up on the notice board, and I was quite kind of indifferent to it because I had just sat in the interview for the sake of proving that कि चलो हम भी टॉप कंपनी में एक बार चांस मार के देखते हैं, देख सकते हैं. So, but to my surprise, I got selected in IBM, which actually I did not want. Actually, I wanted to appear for a core field company, but there was a rule in the college that if you have got selected in one company, you can't appear for another interview till the time a certain percentage of students get selected. So then I was barred. I would be barred for sitting for further placement offers. So although I was successful, I remember very distinctly while everyone else was celebrating, I was almost feeling like crying. Why did I sit in this interview in the first place? मैंने क्या उखाड़ लिया? बस लोगों को prove कर दिया कि I am one of the top intelligent people in this college, but I have selected, or I have been selected for a company where I don't want to go because I don't want to go into this field of coding. Anyhow, nonetheless, I then got selected for GATE, and then came to IIT Bombay for MTech, but in mechanical engineering field, operations research. So the moral of the story is that sometimes there may be situations where you are successful yet dissatisfied. So now, does anyone recollect any story where you were successful yet dissatisfied?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Shubhangi.
I don't have an experience to share, like a proper experience, but I just want to say that even if you are successful, you may feel not that happy if like someone who's a friend or someone very dear to you has like failed in that, and he or she is sad about it. Then you won't be able to happily like
Celebrate.
celebrate your success because someone else has failed and who's like your friend.
Hmm. That is a very pious mindset. Generally, the mindset which people in this world have is that I am not so much happy about my being successful. I am more happy about that person being a failure, right? Or sometimes it is like, my failure doesn't pain me so much as the success of that person pains me,
No,
right?
but if they are like good friends, then like it may pain.
Yeah, yes, for good, yeah, if you are good friends. So that's why I'm saying that you are having a very pious and spiritually minded outlook, and therefore, yeah, kind of dissatisfaction is not available for many. For most people, the dissatisfaction is in the success of others and their own failures. Yeah. But yeah, what you're saying is a situation that many times we may be successful on a personal front, hmm, but sometimes the cost of that success is that we fail on um, at the level of our family or social contribution, and others around us, if they are not happy, what is the use of that success? And similarly, Arjuna was in a situation like that. He was saying, even if I am successful in winning this battle, I would not be happy because the people around me, hmm, there won't be anyone with whom I could celebrate the success, because all the loved and dear ones, many of them would have lost their lives. Yeah. So success does not necessarily, uh, you know, give us a guarantee of satisfaction. Make sense? Hmm? So what we are discussing, the theme I'm trying to lead all of us to, is that many times, in general, uh, failure is something which leads to dissatisfaction. But there could be situations where you are even successful and then also dissatisfied, then also feeling a sense of completeness. And as I say, being lonely at the top. Many times people have this feeling of having accomplished everything, achieved everything they could have dreamt of and thought of, but still a vacuum, a sense of vacuum, incompleteness still haunts their heart. And then the pain becomes even more pronounced, because after so much hard work, hmm, by getting everything the world is hankering for, still they don't have that satisfaction. That satisfaction is still out of sight for them. So we don't want to be in such a situation, right? That after having done so much hard work, after putting up so much strategy, hard work, everything, we are successful but still dissatisfied. Hmm? Isn't it? We don't want to be in such a situation. Uh, so we need to know the secrets of satisfaction very clearly, so as to not be having wrong expectations from achievements, from accomplishments, accolades, fame. All of these things, they definitely do give some amount of satisfaction, but they can't give us the foolproof satisfaction. Hmm? They will still leave a vacuum within our heart, which doesn't get filled by accomplishments, achievements, accolades, fame, prestige, um, popularity, etc. So, so that's what I will be trying to take all of us through a discussion where we understand what gives us satisfaction. Where does satisfaction, this thing called satisfaction, comes? Hmm? So, let me try drawing it. I'm sharing the whiteboard with all of you. So are you all able to see the whiteboard? Yeah, give me a thumbs up. So satisfaction can come from different levels of our being. There is a satisfaction at the level of senses. There is satisfaction at the level of mind, satisfaction at the level of ego, satisfaction at the level of intelligence, satisfaction at the level of heart, and satisfaction at the level of soul. So satisfaction at the level of the senses. Hmm. All of you had dinner? Hmm? Yeah, can someone share on the chat what did you have for dinner? Well, we had custard. Definitely, when we are hungry, and then we get nice, delicious, sumptuous meal, don't we experience this feeling of satisfaction? Is it not a divine, heavenly experience? If you are hungry and you just get to honor a nice full plate of prasadam, it definitely gives us a lot of satisfaction. So uh, there is this satisfaction at the level of physiological needs. Hmm. Or suppose you are uh, you are in the peak of heat, in the summer. You have been touring the market for purchasing some things, and then you have 3 bags in your hands, and after 2 3 hours of being in the market, when you reach home, you are very very thirsty, mm, and you take out from your refrigerator, mm, uh, a bottle of cold water, and gulp it down the throat. Doesn't it give a feeling of satisfaction? Would Can't we call that satisfaction? Would we call it satisfaction? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, right. So satisfaction is something which can be experienced at the level of senses. Our basic needs of eating, sleeping, when they are fulfilled, then you feel a sense of satisfaction. Now there is satisfaction at the level of mind. Hmm. Now senses have a certain requirement, certain need, but even if that is fulfilled, you still have situations where you don't feel satisfied. Hmm. क्योंकि हम लोग ये नहीं देखते मेरे प्लेट में क्या है, हम देखते हैं उसके प्लेट में क्या है. You are hungry, you got a full sumptuous plate of prasadam, but then the other person sitting next to you gets another gulab jamun, or a bowl of custard, while you are not getting it. Do you feel satisfied now, after seeing that discrimination, or after seeing that person getting something you didn't get? No, right? You feel a sense of envy, or a sense of discrimination, right? So your satisfaction at the level of the senses is quickly evaporated if you are not satisfied at the level of the mind. So the level of the mind satisfaction often comes from comparison. Hmm? And these are called safety needs. Hmm? So safety needs are where you want to secure your positions, secure your needs. So the ants and the birds, they will just be satisfied with little what they can eat. But humans, they will stock whole sacks of grain. They will stock a lot of money for future, which probably they will never be able to use, right? So that is, those all needs are there in the mind to feel a sense of security and safety. Hmm? So make sense. So although your needs, basic needs at the level of the body, roti kapda makan, senses के level पे पूरा हो भी गया, फिर भी you always crave for more. क्या पता future में कुछ हो जाए. There may be some exigency, some emergency situation, so I should plan for it. So therefore, at the level of the mind, we have certain safety needs, because we think about future, we think about others. फ्यूचर में कुछ हो गया तो मुझे सिक्योरिटी चाहिए, इंश्योरेंस करा लेता हूँ, मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस करा लेता हूँ, या सेविंग्स कर लेता हूँ, या फिर मेरे पास तो है, लाइक माय नीड्स ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन आर फुलफिल्ड बाय दिस you know by this particular Maruti car, but that friend of mine, he has got a Toyota car. Hmm? Isn't it? So don't feel satisfied with this. I need to purchase a bigger and a better car. So therefore, the needs of satisfaction at the level of senses are superseded by needs of satisfaction at the level of the mind. Now, if you have got your basic roti kapda makan fulfilled, if you are doing way better in terms of your basic needs than most of the population, your safety needs are also fulfilled. But then if someone insults you at office, or someone insults you at home, some relative, your status needs are um, disturbed. your status needs are afflicted. So we have a certain need for esteem, respect in the society. And if, although we may have satisfaction of the senses, we may have satisfaction of the mind, but if someone hurts our ego, then immediately our need for respect, our need for esteem in the society is affected, and therefore we feel dissatisfied. Make sense? Hmm? Okay. So now, now you are satisfied at the level of senses, mind, ego, सब अच्छा चल रहा है, सब आपको समाज में प्रतिष्ठा दे रहे हैं, आपका खाने को, रहने को, सोने को, और सेफ्टी वगैरह के लिए सब कुछ है आपके पास. But still you will feel dissatisfied if you are unable to grow in life. मतलब आपको लगेगा कि अरे मैं आज से 5 साल पहले जहाँ था, आज भी मैं वही हूँ. I have not grown. Although I am earning well, but still I have not grown in terms of my capabilities, in terms of my position. Like मैं stagnant हो गया, right? So we have a need for self growth. Self growth needs. That we want to always keep learning, keep doing newer things. We get bored if we keep doing the same old things which we have mastered. So we have this need to grow with time, to learn new things, to be able to do things better. So iske liye, in organizations, they send their employees for training and education so that they keep learning and keep growing with time. Because we want challenges. An animal is just satisfied with just a cow or a camel. They are just satisfied with eating the same things they have been eating, grazing on the same pastures. But a human always is looking for some newness, some challenge, some novelty in life. Therefore, at the level of intelligence, we have the self growth needs, that I need to keep growing, keep doing some things which I've been doing. I need to do them better, and I need to become better at things which I haven't been doing well, right? So these are the self growth needs. Now, even if you have all of these satisfied, still you may still feel dissatisfied if you don't have good relationships, if you don't have some sense of a connection, some sense of people, some people with whom you have a sense of love and belonging. So therefore, there's a need of connection and contribution needs. So does it make sense what we are talking of here? There are different levels of needs, and as we progress at the higher and higher levels, even though the lower levels of needs are fulfilled, you still will feel dissatisfied if a higher level of need is unfulfilled. So even if someone has basic roti kapda makan, if someone has basic good security, safety, is doing much better than others around, if someone has got good status and recognition in the society, if someone is getting opportunities and challenges in life, newer opportunities and challenges in life, but if someone doesn't have spiritual, if doesn't have connection to loved ones, if doesn't have a sense of belonging and love in their life, they will still feel dissatisfied. So therefore, this is a higher level of satisfaction. Now you may say, okay, done, ये 5 हो गया तो बस और क्या चाहिए लाइफ में? ये 5 हो गया so my life is set. But no, these all are just the limbs of our existence. The senses, the mind, the ego, the intelligence, the heart, they are just limbs of our existence. The real existence is the existence of the soul. and the soul possesses the body, the soul possesses the mind, the soul possesses the ego, intelligence, heart, and everything. And if the soul is not satisfied, we very frequently quote the story of that parrot. Hmm. A person purchased a parrot with a cage, and he wanted that parrot to mimic him and speak, just like many times parrots, they have the ability to eh, repeat what you say. So he was trying to prompt this parrot to repeat what he is saying. So he went back to the shopkeeper and he said that, look, he is not repeating what I'm saying. So he said, you need to please the parrot. So what do I need to do? So you need to parrots, they like bells. So you need to you purchase this bell from me. You place this bell in the cage, and the parrot will be very happy. So he placed the bell in the cage. The parrot did not respond. The parrot did not repeat what he was saying. Then he went back to the shopkeeper. He asked that why is it that the parrot is still not mimicking and repeating. So he said, well, the parrots, they like stairs. They like to climb up and down. So you purchase this stair from me and you put it in the cage. So he took that stairs, he put it in the cage. Lo and behold, after 2 days again, he went back to the shopkeeper and saying that, अरे आपसे मैं ये सब खरीदता जा रहा हूँ लेकिन वो कुछ कर नहीं रहा है. So then the shopkeeper said, okay, purchase this another decorative piece and you put it in the cage. So like this, he was keeping on doing it. And then one day, the parrot, he looked very morose and weak. And then at that time the person was very concerned, what happened to the parrot. And then the parrot said, अरे उस दुकान में कुछ खाने को नहीं मिलता है क्या. मतलब कि you brought everything to decorate the cage, to brought so many toys and other things, but you did not bring anything to eat for me. So while we are just decorating the cage by fulfilling the needs of the senses, the mind, the ego, intelligence, and heart, but if we don't tend to the needs of the soul, hmm, which is, what is the need of the soul? These are the spiritual needs. What are spiritual needs? Spiritual need is to love and to serve God. So that need, if it is unfulfilled, still, even after having fulfilled all the above needs, a person will feel dissatisfied. So makes sense so far what we have been discussing?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So we need to ensure that we work on all these levels. You may say, okay, Prabhuji, आपने बोला है कि spiritual needs fulfill नहीं होगा तो बाकी सब मिल भी जाएगा तो भी I will not be satisfied. तो अभी मैं क्या करता हूँ या करती हूँ, मैं केवल spiritual needs पे ध्यान देती हूँ और अभी मैं खाना पीना के ऊपर ध्यान नहीं दूंगा, नहीं ध्यान दूंगी. तो will you be satisfied? No.
No.
We are not on that level that we can just abstain from eating and sleeping and fulfilling our basic needs of the body. We need comfort. We need a good comfortable situation, and then only we can focus on our spiritual needs, because we need satisfaction at the level of the senses. We can't say that, okay, I am fulfilling spiritual needs, or I have loving people around me, so my need of the heart is fulfilled, so I can forget this need of the ego of status. So irrespective of whether I am even if I stand last in the exam, or even if I fail in the board exams, that's fine for me. No, you will feel pinched. You will feel you know uh, a sense of failure. So therefore, we also need to fulfill the status need, and we also need to fulfill our self growth needs. And so it is a satisfaction is a function of, it's a composite function of all the below. that you will be satisfied when you have attended to the needs at all of these levels. Okay, so this is the first part of the presentation clear. Should I move to something more some deeper now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so this is, keep this in mind, that anytime this can also be used as a diagnostic tool. Anytime you are having a sense of dissatisfaction, unfulfillment, vacuum, you look at these 6 things. ये 6 में से कौन सा चीज है जो आपका fulfilled नहीं है, that is causing that dissatisfaction. कभी छोटा dissatisfaction होगा, कभी बड़ा dissatisfaction होगा, but that dissatisfaction is probably coming through one of these 6. Okay, so this is the first thing we discussed. Now we go to a second thing that at the level of the source. I'll show you a graph, a chart. So we have the material and the spiritual as part of our material and spiritual. So our existence is a combination of material and spiritual. We are spiritual beings in a material body. You agree with me? Yes? We are spiritual beings in a material body. Okay? So now, okay. So what I want to share here is, you can be as per your, I'll keep nature, and this is a very interesting chart I'm going to share with all of you. Nature and your duty. Okay, so I have made the chart. So material and nature, here I will put, this is called Swabhav. This is called Swadharma. This is called your Swarup, and this is called Seva. Now I'll explain to you what this very interesting chart means. So the secret to your satisfaction or dissatisfaction lies in this chart. So here somewhere in this chart lies a secret to our satisfaction and dissatisfaction. So let me explain to you what it means first of all. So as I said, our existence is a composite of matter and spirit. We are spiritual beings, but having a material experience in the material body. So we need to align to both our material existence and the spiritual existence. So at the material level, at the level of body, we have a certain nature. Our body has a certain nature, right from our nature as a gender, that also defines our nature as male or female or whatever, right? So your nature is at the level of the body is defined by the say your gender, your your thinking style, your personality traits, uh, or your intellect, whether which kind of intelligence do you have. There are 7 types of intelligence: musical intelligence, kinesthetic intelligence, spatial intelligence, uh, then interpersonal intelligence, logical mathematical intelligence. So our body, mind, and intelligence, they have certain nature as per our which is called a psychophysical nature, right? So that which we have derived, that nature which we derive, which we inherit based on our body is called swabhav. That is the number one concept that I want you to take notice of. Number two, mhm, based on that swabhav primarily, you have a certain duty in this world. Hmm? You have a certain duty to perform in this world based on your swabhav. So traditionally in the varnashram system, the kshatriya would have, like someone who has a kshatriya or a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, they are classified based on their swabhava, guna karma vibhagasha, chaturvarnya maya system, guna karma, vibhagasha. That Krishna has defined these different varnas based on guna and karma, what kind of swabhav that person carries. Accordingly, he is given a particular occupation, occupational duty. Hmm? So that duty is derived from one's swabhav. If someone is chivalrous, someone is courageous, someone is the qualities of a kshatriya are given. Yuddhe cha api apalayana. Hmm? The kshatriya is very, very courageous. They will not, never back off from the battle, right? So based on the swabhava, the swadharma, which means your contribution to the society is determined based on your swabhava. Hmm? So at the material level, our dissatisfaction may be coming either from if you are not acting based on your swabhav. There are many cases in today's world where people who are artists by nature, but they end up in a IT coding job in Bangalore somewhere, and that never gives them an expression of their creative genius of art. Hmm. They're always keeping on sitting and coding, and then the world makes them feel that they are good for nothing, right? So if you are not acting based on your swabhav, you will feel dissatisfied. Hmm. Now, does it mean that everyone who is acting based on their nature, if they have got if they work based on their nature, will they be satisfied? No. They also need to ensure that they make a meaningful contribution to the society using their talent. One's occupation should be aligned to one's talent, but then one's occupation should also be aligned to a meaningful contribution towards the society, right? So there are people who are using their talent for destructive means, for selfish means, and then at some point of time they will feel dissatisfied with what they are doing, right? So at the material level, we learn from this that satisfaction comes when we align as per our swabhava. If we act based on our swabhava, then we will be happy and satisfied. And number two, we utilize our swabhava, we utilize our talent for making a meaningful contribution, doing a meaningful duty towards the society, right? So that is the point number one about satisfaction, which is at the material level. Now, at the spiritual level, our satisfaction comes from these two things, Swarupa and Seva. Hmm? What do we mean by Swarupa? Jivera Swarupa hai Krishnera Nitya Das. So all of us, our true constitutional position, nature is to be a servant of Krishna. Hmm? So when we live our life in cognizance of this, that I am a servant. Hmm? I am not here to boss over anyone or anything. I am just a servant. And what is the how best I can serve in any situation? If you ask yourself this question and if you answer this question in any situation, you will be the most satisfied person. In this world, most people are dissatisfied because they want to be masters, because they want to act against their spiritual nature. The example Bhagavatam gives is that of Hiranyakashipu. स इत्थम निर्जित ककोब एक राड विषयान प्रियान यथोपजोष भुंजानो अतृप्य ajitendriya. So this Hiranyakashipu was not satisfied. He was dissatisfied, although he had conquered the entire universe, although he had subjugated the greatest of devatas, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, etc. Everyone were at his beck and call. Even Narad Muni would, bow down to Hiranyakashipu. Even despite all of that control, he was dissatisfied because he was not acting as per the constitutional nature of the living entity, which is to be a servant, right? So yes, our our life and our lifestyle should be aligned to being a servant, and that will be a great source of satisfaction. That will be a great source of clarity. And number two, that is not enough. Just realizing our nature of being a servant is not enough. We need to act based on that nature. Hmm. So just as just knowing your swabhava and acting based on that swabhava is not enough. You need to utilize that swabhava and utilize that talent to make a meaningful contribution to the society, which is called swadharma. Similarly, knowing one's Swarupa is not just enough. Knowing one's Swarupa of being a servant of Krishna is not enough. One needs to engage in meaningful service based on instructions of Guru and Krishna. And that is something which will give us deep rooted satisfaction on the spiritual plane. So, if you want to understand and evaluate how to be satisfied in life, then you have the whole field charted out here, where you know how to be satisfied on the material plane and how to be satisfied on the spiritual plane. So dear friends, these are some principles which I wanted to share with all of you. um, because unless you know what are the sources of satisfaction or dissatisfaction, you will not be able to diagnose what is causing you dissatisfaction. Hmm? um, unless you diagnose the disease, you cannot cure the disease. Mhm. So satisfaction is a big thing in life, because if you are dissatisfied, the greatest achievements, the greatest accomplishments, the greatest possessions will will not come to your help, will not come to your rescue, will not be of any meaning to you if you don't have satisfaction in life. Hmm. So it is very important to cultivate satisfaction. In order to cultivate satisfaction, we need to know where satisfaction comes from. Hmm. If I want to cultivate, say, rice, I need to know where does rice come from. Rice comes from a paddy field. Hmm. If I imagine that rice comes, uh, you know, from a tree, hmm, if rice grows on a tree, I'll keep on looking for trees all over the universe, but I'll never get rice. Hmm. I need to know that rice comes from the paddy field when paddy is sown. So it's a bush, it's not a tree. So similarly, we need to know where does satisfaction, where does the fruit or grain of satisfaction grow, and then only we'll be able to get it. But if we are not able to get it, despite all of our achievements, accomplishments, positions, and success in life, we will be very, very miserable. Hmm. Because what actually gives us a true sense of fulfillment is satisfaction. So these are the various places from which satisfaction comes. We discussed satisfaction at the level of senses, mind, ego, intelligence, heart, and soul. And we need to understand that satisfaction is a composite function at all of these different levels. So we pay attention to fulfilling the needs at all of these levels. We don't ignore any of them as being inferior, although we know that the highest need of fulfillment is the spiritual need, and the needs of the heart are also very important. But we work on everything, because if you are hungry, you can't focus on self growth. If you are hungry, you cannot focus on your japa or chanting, right? If you are diseased, if you are sick, you can't focus on any other thing, isn't it? So therefore, we need to work on all of these levels of our existence, by which we can be satisfied. And then we also saw basically that we have two parts of our existence, the material and the spiritual. So at the material level, we have certain psychophysical nature, which is called swabhava. That psychophysical nature is based on the shape of our body and mind. We have a certain bent of mind, a certain physique of the body. And as per our body and mind, if we act based on that, then we will be happy and satisfied. Say, suppose who is someone who is supposed to be wrestling, for the country or boxing for the country in the Olympics is told that you will be successful only if you crack the JEE exam. Hmm? They will live their life being miserable because they are not acting as per their swabhav. Their wrestling is with the with at the level of the physique, not with the level of intelligence. And if someone who is wrestling at the level of intelligence, the swabhav is to be intellectual. If they are asked to, do a physical wrestling, that is something which they will feel useless. Hmm? So therefore, acting as per one's nature, recognizing one's nature, recognizing one's talent and abilities, that is first part of being satisfaction, first step towards satisfaction. Then utilizing, learning how to utilize your talent for a fruitful, meaningful contribution to the society and the world around you. That is called swadharma. That is important, and at the material level. And then number two, at a spiritual level, understanding our swarupa is to be a servant of the servant of Krishna, and acting on that swarupa means doing meaningful uh, uh, seva as per the instructions of Guru and Krishna. So when we do all of this, then satisfaction is guaranteed. Hmm. So these are some points of discussion from our whole discussion today. So any questions or comments?
If someone is spiritually satisfied and materially dissatisfied, then in that case, what they have to do? How to balance
Okay.
that?
Mhm. Can you just give an example for me to uh, give a specific answer?
So,
You are muted.
yeah. So I'm asking for one of my friend as he's doing bhakti, but he's not satisfied with the business and all. So that's the reason I asked.
Hmm. Okay, so yes, we have situations in life where we are doing well in on the spiritual front, but not quite well on the material front. Or we have situations where we are doing well on the material front, but in the bargain are mm, probably missing out or neglecting on the spiritual front. So this whole the purpose of showing this entire big picture is for us to understand that these all are the factors for satisfaction, and we need to work on it holistically. Hmm. Now one is not a substitute for the other. Hmm. You cannot say that, okay, I am earning well and I am giving donation to the temple, so I don't need to chant. Hmm. So your material success and progress cannot be a substitute for your japa. Similarly, your japa cannot be a substitute for you know your basic needs of the body. Hmm. Yes. So if you are hungry, if you are just told, अरे नहीं जप करो भूख मिट जाएगी अपने आप, भूख भूल जाओगे. So yes, that happens for the Goswamis. It is described that they had minimized the needs of the body. They were just sleeping for 1.5 2 hours. They were just drinking some buttermilk once in few days, but at least they were drinking something, which means at the level of the body also they were acting. Mhm. They were acting to fulfill the needs of the body to some extent. We are not on that level, so we need to ensure that we have our meal 2 times or 3 times a day, whatever will keep our body in shape and satisfied. The Bhagavatam says, Kamasya na indriya priti labho jive tayavata. Jivasya tattva jigyasa na to yascheha karmavi. That if one should desire something at the level of the body, at the material level, is to keep the body healthy. Hmm? The body and mind healthy. So whatever it takes for you to keep your body and mind healthy and not complaining, cribbing, and diseased, that is something we need to do. Hmm. We can't artificially act on a level where We have not yet reached. So yes, to sum it up, we need to pay attention to both of the material and spiritual needs, and fulfill both of them, put our efforts. And despite our efforts, if you find that your materially you are not as successful as you wanted to become, then you recalibrate your expectations from yourself. Hmm? That is something which, many times we have lofty expectations from ourselves at the material level. Hmm? So we need to recalibrate, and if we have lofty expectations from ourselves on the spiritual level, then that also we have to recalibrate. So we can't keep undue expectations from ourselves. You realize the level where you are materially and be satisfied with what you are getting there, and you realize your level spiritually and be satisfied with your efforts there. Because anyways, Krishna said you have right over your duty, your action, but not on the results. So would it help? Gopi, would it help your friend?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Anything Shibangi, Gopinath would like to share?
Prabhuji, I want to ask, can you tell some more practical tips, what we need to work on?
Hmm. In terms of being satisfied?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, practical. So now this is the theory of what all we need to do, at what levels we need to work for being satisfied. At the practical level, what can you do? What are your thoughts? What do you think from this discussion? Let me, fire some neurons in your brain also. Any guesses you want to make? What small steps you can take based on this discussion? Pick one of these things. Say physiological needs, safety needs, status needs, self growth needs. So your the tip to your answer, the question is that the hint to your question is answer in the hint for the answer is that you need to see where your dissatisfaction is coming from. What gives you a feeling of dissatisfaction. Hmm. If it is at the level of the senses, the level of mind, ego, intelligence, heart, physiological needs आपका unmet है, safety needs unmet है, status needs unmet है, self growth needs unmet है, connection needs unmet है, या spiritual needs unmet है. So depending on which of these 6 is unmet, you take the first step there. Practically. Say suppose for someone, they are dissatisfied with their health. If they are overweight, and they find most of the time they are thinking and anxious and dissatisfied with the way they are physically, so they should take their first step there. Hmm? And try to add a regimen of exercise in their life. Hmm? If someone is having status needs, that they feel that I'm not respected enough in the society, I'm not valued enough. So then they need to work there, that whether am I in the right sangha, am I in the right association, group of people. Our first step practically will come from this place where we are feeling a sense of lacking. Any thoughts from you?
Yes. Okay. I have a problem, and that is I don't prefer people, or like to talk to people, or things like that. And uh, like I don't
Connecting
be
people.
talking to people, befriending them, and that's why I sometimes feel that I'm very left out.
Mhm. Okay.
Yes.
No, you are here in amidst a very nice sangha, so you're not left out. So,
Like sometimes.
so do you feel being left out, or others make you feel that you are left out? That is also a question we need to ask. आपको लगता है या लोग आपको महसूस करवाते हैं कि अरे तेरे दोस्त नहीं है, तू सोशल नहीं है? आप ये आपको लगता है या आपको ऐसा लगवाया जाता है, कहा जाता है? लगता है, हाँ. Then it is a real problem we are dealing with. If many times people have comments about everything. If you are very intelligent, then they will say अरे तुम सोशल नहीं हो, तुम बस किताबों में पढ़े रहते हो. और कोई बहुत सोशल है तो बोलते हैं यार तुम पढ़ते लिखते नहीं हो, पढ़ोगे लिखोगे बनोगे नवाब, खेलोगे कूदोगे होगे खराब. People have some slang comments about everything. We need not bother and worry about what people say. But if there is a genuine feeling within you that you are lacking in something, then that is something which we need to work on, and it will take time to develop. We also need to understand that it doesn't develop overnight. So in terms of you said that it is difficult for you to befriend people. So you need to break it down. First of all, we need to understand that everyone is a different, unique individual. So everyone needs a different kind of food, right? Everyone has their likes and dislikes in terms of food, isn't it? Isn't it very natural to have our own likes and dislikes in terms of food choices? Even within the same family, different people have different food choices. Different people have different channel choices. Someone like a particular channel, news channel, someone like sports channel, someone like cinema channel. So we are all different in terms of our food habits, in terms of our entertainment habits. So we are also different in terms of our relationship needs. So some people, they are extrovert and some people are introvert. So what does extrovert mean? Someone who thrives in connecting to people. Someone who thrives in making a number of friends. Now, does it mean that introvert is someone who doesn't make any friends at all? No. Introvert also makes friends, but their friends will not be flashy. Their friends will not be too much very very sociable. Their friends will be quiet. Their friends will be more inward, like introvert themselves. They want to talk less and do more, right? So you need to find people like you whom you can connect to. An extrovert can connect to 100 other people, but an introvert will be able to connect to just maybe 4 or 5 other people and have quality relationships with them. So you can't compare yourself with an extrovert and think that and feel dissatisfied, right? So वो वाला जो dissatisfaction है mind के level पे जो आ रहा है, which is because of comparison, that if you keep harboring that will never get fulfilled. We need to see on the genuine realistic level what is my nature, and based on that nature what is my need, and fulfill that need, and that will work well for us. So identify a few people, think of few people in your circuit whom you feel a sense of like-mindedness, and then start investing in them, because relationships they don't form overnight. It takes a lot of investment, and I'm talking of meaningful relationships. Meaningful friendships, they take time, they take effort, they take investment.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Shubhangi, for very candidly asking the question. Hare Krishna. Gopinath, you want to share any parting remarks? Gopinath or Devamrit? Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining, and very, very grateful for this opportunity to read, churn, and discuss the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll see you again next week. Till then, Hare Krishna. Take care. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanand.